Testing, 1, 2, 3. Testing, 1, 2. Well, hello. Hi. Hello, my beautiful people. My name is Jonathan Garano, and welcome to another episode of Spill the Pho. I'm not going to lie to you right now. It is 4:02 a.m. in the morning, but I just could not sleep because I am really excited to let you know that we finally have a guest on this show. Yes. Okay, we're still going to have these like one-on-one, podcasts from time to time, but I definitely am really excited because I finally got myself another microphone and a mixer. And yes, I live in a garage, so my bank account was like, "What are you doing? Why are you doing this, Jonathan?" But I was like, "Yo, bank account, calm down. This is my dream. This is what I want to do." Okay? I want to bring on guests on a podcast show, so therefore I can elevate it a little bit. As an extrovert, it's really hard to do a podcast alone sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's kind of weird. I'm in a garage. Imagine being alone in a garage doing a podcast like right now at 4:02 a.m. in the morning. Some people think that, Jonathan, are you crazy? And the answer is yes, I am. So, bank account, calm the fuck down. I'm getting another microphone. I'm bringing on a guest. And today's guest, I'm excited. I mean, this is what we're doing. We're just bringing on random people. We're just spilling the pho. This person, his name is Morgan J. Morgan J. Who is Morgan J, you ask? That's a very good question. Morgan J is a musical comedian, okay? That means when he gets up on stage, he holds a guitar in his hand, he does a little strumming, and it's different. And so the audience gets engaged for a while. They're like, "Oh my God, who is this man with his angelic voice? Who is this man who is touching my soul right now?" And yet, even though I'm feeling some good vibes and I'm vibing, I'm also laughing. I mean, that's what this guy does, okay? We were at a burlesque show, okay? I was there not to see the women in roller skates dancing to Michael Jackson as they strip down to their lady bits, okay? I was there to see him, but everyone else in the bar, all 200 other people clinking their glasses, they were there to see those women get down and dirty and get jiggy with it as they dance to some funky music as they slowly strip down to, again, their birthday suits. But he is there to open the show up. They're not there to see him. They're there to see the ladies. But this is how good he is, okay? He gets up through all the noise. He plugs in his stereo. He takes out his microphone. He takes out his guitar. He does a little strumming, a little stroking. And for 30 seconds, he begins to sing a little bit to the crowd. And all of a sudden, everyone in the crowd, everyone in the bar goes completely silent. And they look at him, and they're enamored by him. They're in shock. They're fucking hypnotized. And then they begin to laugh. And he does this time and time and time again. Every single show that I go to, that's what he does. He is so talented, and I'm so happy to bring him on this wonderful show. His name is Morgan J. He was a semi-finalist at a comedy show for NBC where he was able to swoon Chrissy Teigen, Kenan Thompson, Jeff Foxworthy, and millions of other people on American television. Check him out. Again, his name is Morgan J. The episode will begin. And remember, if you want to hear all the episodes a week in advance, a week early, you can always go to patreon.com/spill the pho. Till then, here is the episode. Yeah, what's your dog's name again?
This is Julius. He is my neighbor's dog, my old neighbor's dog. And where'd you put my phone?
I put it right here.
Oh, good. You got it out of my face. Good.
Do you want it in your face?
No, you know how it is. It's
Dude, you got a lot of notifications right now. It popped up. Is it because of your new post, your new Instagram post?
No, it's yeah. You could put it. Take it away from me.
I'm taking it away. So make sure
Tell
that.
me your name again. Joanna. Do you know that song?
Joanna.
Who? Are you kidding me?
I don't think you know what I'm talking about.
Of course I know. Joanna, I love you.
Yeah, that one?
You're the one for me.
Yes, I love it. See, that's what he does. Morgan, he likes to get up on stage, and then he takes his guitar up as he's a musical comedian, as they say.
Yeah.
And then as he goes around, he asks for people's names, and then he always, which I really love, is for the first 5 minutes of your set usually, or even more, depending how long they give you, is you sing to your audience members.
Yeah, that's on purpose, because sometimes I feel like, and can I turn this down a tiny bit?
Yeah.
Sometimes I feel like,
Is it this one?
yeah,
Did-
yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's great.
Is that good?
That's good. A little bit higher. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4. I like that.
All right, good.
All right, yeah. I feel like what I do is so different. It's such a different energy. You know what I mean?
Right.
As I eat this tangerine, every time I see a tangerine, I eat it because
Wow.
you don't know the next time you're going to be around a tangerine. This could be the last citrusy fruit.
Oh, that's mine. That's right.
This could be the last citrusy fruit.
I have a whole bag of
and I
cuties
often-
behind me.
That's right. And I often find that I bet you Jonathan will not eat that whole bag of cuties.
No, I won't.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But that's why I just help myself to tangerines.
I try to eat like one tangerine or one cutie like every
Here.
other day.
Let's share a slice together.
I'm excited for this. So why do you go up and why do you just like talk? So, like for every 5 minutes, I feel like sometimes I feel like your entire set. 'Cause I go to a lot of your shows. For the entire 10 minutes, you're just going around with
So
each
does
individual
Justine?
person. Her
Justine?
name's Joanna.
Joanna. That's right.
Joanna's
Also-
behind the camera.
Joanna, you're just going to be chilling here the whole time?
Chilling. Is
All
that
right.
okay?
Yeah.
It's okay with me if it's okay with you.
I'm chilling with your doggy.
All right, sick.
Sick.
That's what's up. All right, sick. Okay, so
Yeah, I just hired her.
so basically for
She's
me,
working with me.
Oh, nice. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, so basically for me it's like I do that because my frequency, and I feel lame saying that, but my vibe and my frequency
Right.
is a lot different than the other comics on the lineup. So sometimes if it's me and like 8 other people, I used to launch into one of my songs, but I don't know if that was always the right way. And now
You have to warm them up first, I feel.
yeah, but I'm trying to find the right song that I can just go into that's gonna be kill from the get go. Because I'd like to be able to start with a bit that works and then do the crowd work later. I don't know. The act is always evolving, but people do like to come see me for that reason alone.
I mean, I think. Well, a lot of your bits or your stand up songs, as you could say, they're all about like relationships. Mm-hmm. And I think like you coming in already saying, "Hey, who's the couple? Who's the couple? Who's the couple?" And then couples like raise their hand, and then you sing a little bit to them. Oh, like, oh, you've been together for 5 years, and you say your little thing. That kind of transitions to
you,
your songs.
Joanna, do you have a lover in your life? How old are you, girl? 21. Have you ever had a lover?
I hate men.
You hate men? You do hate men?
No, I love them, but I hate them at this
Why do you, and this is basically what happens. I'd be like, why do you hate men?
trash.
Because they're fucking garbage.
They got me fucked up.
They got you fucked up, Joanna. They fucking Joanna. They fucking Joanna.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, that's exactly what happens. And so when I first saw him, I fell in love with him. Like my heart started beating a little
Yeah,
bit.
you saw me at that golf course, right?
Yeah, I saw you at this golf course. I was there to see another friend of mine do his first time of a set. And then what ended up happening was you performed.
Tell them what happened.
You performed, and my friends and I were like, holy shit, this guy is the fucking LEGIT. And I was like, okay, I gotta fucking meet this guy. But I couldn't because a long line started forming for you, and a long line started forming for my friend.
Yeah.
And I was like, I gotta support
Your
my
friend
friend
from
for a
Vegas,
little bit.
right?
Yeah, my friend from Vegas.
Yeah.
So of course I saw my friend, but then I've been hanging around the comedy scene with another comedian. We've been driving her around.
Who's that? Do I know?
Caitlin Allen.
Oh, yeah, Caitlin, yeah.
Yeah, and you, again, you were at another mic, another little show. And I got so fucking fortunate that I decided just to go in that little
it was
comedian
that-
room, and I was like, "Yo, dude, what's up?" And I think I
Yeah.
have good energy. I don't know what it is.
have good energy.
I'm gonna be very narcissistic and conceited right now and say that. And I think you just felt it, and I felt it, and we like looked in each other's eyes, and
Yeah.
we just suddenly became friends.
Yeah. And
I'm very fortunate that we're friends. I feel so lucky that we've met.
And I think, me too, dude.
Really?
I do feel that way. I feel like we have impacted each other in a very good, positive way.
Oh my god, I'm about to cry. And we've only known each other for 3 months.
I think, yeah, I think about 3 months, yeah.
Like
'Cause I
what
think
makes see that's the thing I've been trying to like figure out right now, right? I feel like in our life people come and go all the time.
Yeah.
But I got this question and I don't really know how to answer it correctly. Like what does friendship mean to me?
Yeah. Well, I think there's connections that you make with people that you don't. There's some people that you don't need to see. You know what it is, man? There's just some people that like. I think I talked to you about this. Like, some people they value you for entertainment. For God, how do I articulate this? There's just some people who they don't need you to be anything else, but like they don't need anything else from you, but to just be there.
The presence.
Do you understand? Do you understand what I'm saying? Whereas other people,
So, okay, there's some people in my life, right, where I feel like when I have to be there, I have to some sort of entertain
and we've
them.
talked about this,
Right.
and I even said in the car ride, is like, and I say this a lot when I have friends in my car, I'll be like, hey, don't feel like you need to talk this whole time. We could just sit here. And
Yeah, that's the best.
if we just, and when you feel like you want to say something, you say it. Because I used to be that way, and I sometimes I still am.
I still am that way. I feel as if I'm not talking and making them laugh or making them think of some sort of theory that I have, that the conversation or the friendship means absolutely nothing. And that's something that I've been like struggling with, where I'm surrounded by all these successful people like you. I think you're successful, and I think a lot of my friends are, and I have to consistently think like, okay, how do I have value around them? Because I have this weird, we're always told that you're only as good as the people that you surround yourself with. And so then my thing is, okay, if I'm surrounding myself with great people, then I have to also be great.
But look at how those people get their own self-worth and value, because you're friends with a lot of influencers, right?
Right, a lot of actors.
So these people
influencers.
get all their validation from likes, followers, and like engagement.
Right.
And these are all things that, like, when they're removed from that context, then what is their value? You know what I mean?
Well, see, not every friend that I have is an influencer. Not every influencer I want to be friends with. It just so happens to be that these close friends of mine are also like, I guess, like quote unquote influential in their space, right? But
yeah.
I'm very fortunate enough where when we're together, that doesn't matter, right?
Right.
But at the same time, I'm always thinking, do I belong? Because then I end up becoming part of their entourage instead of their friend. And I know that's not something I should worry about.
Yeah, I think
but
about
that
that
is
too.
definitely something that I worry about, because my biggest anxiety in life is, am I using anybody? And I don't want to use anybody. That's not my thing. I don't want to use
understand.
anybody. And so if I'm not becoming great, if I'm not getting riches, if I'm not becoming, quote unquote, more successful in the career that I'm in, then the whole backplay of, am I using them? I mean,
I do understand this. I do understand this sentiment. I am friends with a handful of famous people. Not a handful, maybe a couple. And I was always hesitant. I have friends and representation who are like, why don't you ask that person to do this or that? And I just don't say, I don't feel comfortable doing that. I'm sure they have a ton of people asking them that. And maybe I just don't feel, it's like, then it turns the relationship into something else, Then it's not like we're friends anymore. It's like, I don't know.
but don't you want to do that? For example, you have 10,000 Instagram followers. You were
Honestly, I have too many.
right. You have
I have too many followers.
you were
11. We're on the verge of 11.8 thousand,
you were
and we have a blue check mark, Joanna.
you were you were on NBC.
And I will say this: a lot of that growth came with a lot of advice and consultation I got from Jonathan. BT Dubs. I'm just saying that if you're watching this and you're
shit.
like, I'm not. He didn't ask me to do this, but I'm just saying, like, he sat me down. We had breakfast, and he's like, okay, this is what you need to do. You need to do X, Y, and Z, and then you just do it. And then, like, it is overwhelming because you're like, oh fuck, that seems like a lot. Because when he gives you advice, it's like with a lot of veracity and energy and like engagement, and you're just like, oh fuck, I feel like a part of me felt like, oh, I'm fucking up. But
You're not. You're so talented that I want to see you succeed.
Yeah, and I think that's what it is. But I'm just saying a lot of that growth, which isn't like, it's not a whole lot, I think. Anyway, yeah, so you were saying.
Thank you.
Yeah.
But okay, so you're growing rapidly. People say that you're so talented. You're on an NBC show. When do you then ask these people, like, hey, other comedian that has like 60,000 followers that also believes in you, let's collab? Like, have you put a metric there? Like, for me, it's like, okay, Jonathan, maybe when I hit like 50,000 followers, then maybe I'm good enough to even collaborate with one of my best friends who has 600,000
I
followers.
just asked a friend of mine who he has 1.2 million followers, and he has a podcast, and I just hit him up. I said, hey, can I do your podcast? And he was like, here's a couple dates. I only feel comfortable doing that because, and I'll be honest with you, I have a blue check mark, and I have over. I'll be honest with you.
No, that's exactly.
I have over 10K followers and a blue check mark. So that made me feel like, oh, I had a little bit of clout, even if I don't have the followership, I have a TV credit. Like I feel like
I'm good
I've
enough.
I'm good enough because it's like to a certain extent, like yes, you do have to feel like you're good enough for yourself. But to the outside world, there are some, I think, benchmarks you have to hit for other people when you get, you know what I mean? Like you get to this
Right. So
area.
how do you determine? So that's what I'm saying. If you always think that you're valuable, even though you don't have that blue check mark yet or those 10,000
Yeah.
followers, how do you psych yourself out to say I'm valuable enough, or do you need actually those quote unquote credentials before you feel like when you email that guy at the podcast?
Yeah.
Now that you have the blue check, now that you have over 10,000 followers, now that you can do that whole swipe up, do you feel as if
By the way, he has 100 times the amount of followers. Just to
right? But
point
do
that
you
out.
do you feel as if you're using him now or no? Because
I don't feel like I'm using him because also in this last year, I feel like my comedy and my ability to be funny and entertain has, I think, really grown so much that now, like, I know within myself how funny and entertaining I am. And it doesn't matter what platform or who I'm talking to or how many followers they have. Like, there's just,
where does that come from? Because okay, so for the past 8 months right now, I've been going to as many open mics as I can,
Sure.
going to as many different shows as I can, and I've seen, like for example, Caitlin Allen or different other comedians, their ups and downs or their highs and their lows when it comes to stand-up comedy.
I literally just posted about this.
Right, and I have seen your past stuff as well. How do you but now that I look at you, I see like all this consistent vibes that you have in regards to you stand up, you're surrounded by 200 people, you do your crowd work, everyone's laughing, you hit your bits, and every single time, you don't have a bad show in my opinion. You have like good or great shows.
Yeah.
And how do you get there? Like how do you know that it's going to be there?
Well, I've been doing comedy 12 years, and I go out every night. It's kind of like a fear. It's like it's something that never goes away. And if you do stand up or comedy every night, at least once or twice a night, consistently, you will just feel more comfortable in front of people. You will. I mean, a lot of it has to do with preparation and experience. I've been doing it 12 years. Consistently, and I just think that's what it has to. And also, it's like I've reached a point where I'm doing it full time it's like it's my job. Yeah, it just you just have to know that it's going to go well. I mean, I think starting out is a little bit harder nowadays because everything is so focused around. It looks like hold on, if we're silent, it looks like let's just pretend like we're talking just in our mind.
We're just looking at each other. We're not saying anything.
Just act as if we are sending each other thoughts, and then just use little eye movements and.
Okay, we gotta start.
Do you know what I mean? You see what happened there? Was that funny to watch, Joanna?
That's good.
So if you're not,
That's for the viewers.
That's for the viewers. We went silent for the viewers.
But your question was how do you feel confident, or how do you
like what are the so you go through all this, like what are the highs and the highlights and the lowlights of being a stand-up comedian today?
So today it's kind of hard, right? Because it's not enough to do open mics and shows. There's a lot of different avenues to get successful. So many avenues where some people who've done it a year, 2 years, 3 years are getting success at such a fast pace. Some people are putting out videos every 2 or 3 days, and they've worked out how to they've found an audience. They create the right content.
Mm-hmm.
They know all those moves. I've already forgotten the question, but now it's honestly think it's a little bit harder. And also, if you're not like somebody who's famous, you can't, and you go to a comedy club where at least there they might lock up phones. You have the opportunity to develop material without people just posting it right away. I mean, that's something you have to think about now all the time, is if you say one wrong thing. I swear to God, can I ask what Asian you are?
Yes.
Yeah, Joanna.
Joanna, what Asian are you?
Chinese.
Chinese. What Asian were you again?
I'm Filipino.
Filipino, right? So even saying that, like, I feel like I'm a dirty person, right? Like my sister-in-law is Chinese, and I was literally having.
I mean, that's kind of good that you're checking yourself to figure out what is sensitive and what is not sensitive. You know, that's a good check.
Yeah, but like the way. So you guys are cool, right?
Yeah.
But there's a show that I might do where I pick somebody out in the crowd and I say, "Hey, what Asian are you?" I'm like, "What Asian are you, girl?" I mean, I've done it, but it's so far it goes okay. But like you don't know. Some people freak the fuck out and they're like, "I don't like the way you said that." You're like singling me out.
But that's okay.
Like, that happens.
That happens, and that's okay if it happens because you don't know what's going on in their life. But at least you're aware of it.
See, I'm 12 years older than you, and I know I'm an old guy, and like. I mean, I'll tell you what happened a couple months ago. I was on a college campus. I was performing at UNC Asheville, and the school had given me a T-shirt. This was my second time at the school because they really liked me the first time, and honestly, I loved performing. I think Asheville's a great town. I think that school is awesome. So I did a show. The first 10 seconds of the show, and I recorded the whole set. I'm wearing the T-shirt they gave me. I go off stage. And I run up to a girl like you, and I say, "Hey, feel my T-shirt. Feel it. Doesn't that feel good? It's good material, right?"
Ooh, that's hilarious.
Right. So it's hilarious, right? Okay. So then as I'm walking back on stage, I do a little news reporter voice, and I'm like, "In recent news, Morgan J assaults student by forcibly making her touch his shirt." Okay. So I do an hour long. I'm making fun of the fact that somebody can misconstrue this as like,
I can see that. Yeah, I can see that.
All right. So you see how you can see that, right?
Yes.
Now somebody did see that in the room.
Right.
And then left immediately in the first 2 or 3 minutes of my set.
Right.
I did the whole hour-long show. I did like an hour and 15 minutes.
Right.
I sold merch. I took photos. People like were really excited to see me.
Morgan J.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it was like that. They were chanting. They were like, "Give us more. Let us fill your shirt."
Encore.
No, that didn't happen. But I did sell merch.
Where's your pants?
I took photos with people. And as a matter of fact, there was a girl from the school newspaper. She was like a sophomore there.
Right.
And she wanted to interview me. So I said, "Hey, let's go back to the green room." And then the door closed, and I'm like, "Oh, leave the door open. Just please leave the door open."
Yeah, just in case. You
honestly,
never know.
I don't want anything to be weird. Leave the door open.
Smart.
And then,
That's
so
what I
then,
with you.
yeah. So then I walk to my rental car, and I'm checking my
Your Twitter?
Instagram.
Oh, your Instagram.
And like 40 students have tagged me in this post, and the post said something along the lines of,
"Oh shit."
I was really looking forward to UNC's programming tonight with comedian Morgan J, only to be disappointed to find out he was normalizing rape culture. If you think Morgan J shouldn't do that, tag him below in the comments.
And 40 people tagged you.
40 people tagged me. One girl even said, "I didn't see it, but he seems like an asshole."
Whoa.
And then the girl who I asked to touch my shirt defended me in the comment section. And then this girl who was commenting was an 18-year-old white female.
Mm-hmm.
And somebody else had said something like, "Oh, we're just trying to educate you, like giving you some sexual education, Morgan J." And during my hour-long show, I think maybe like 5 or 10 people left because a lot of times at colleges, like students will leave halfway through because they're like, I'll even go, "Why are you leaving?" And they're like, "I have midterms tomorrow." And you're like, "All right." It's like, it's most of the...
Yeah.
So the amount of people who tagged me, it didn't make sense for this. I did not engage. I did not respond because, like, I don't know if you remember when you were between the ages of, like, 18 and 23, like, you're getting all this new, like, liberal arts education, and you're just like, it. I'm not personally attacking you, but you're like...
I mean, Joanna does say I know a lot.
But, like, when I was that age, like, I thought I knew. Like, I knew everything. And so there wasn't anything that I was going to say to this girl that was going to, like... And then she went to edit the post and saying, "Hey, I don't want this guy to lose his job or his money or whatever." But like what she doesn't realize is that like you have accused me and have started a conversation with me in the full view of the public, right?
That you are normalizing rape culture,
right? And like if you watch the whole set, there's a lot of like really positive songs, and I'm not I'm not malicious during my sets. There's
Right,
no
I've
part of me
seen
that's
it. I've
really
seen
malicious.
you're a very positive comment.
I pick on everybody, but I do it, and people always say like, "Oh, Morgan does it in a way that you don't feel like."
Well, you're not.
weird.
Well, when I see you picking on people, it's not really picking on them. It's relationship situations. You're never attacking anybody's facial features or their cultural background.
I'll be like, "Damn, you ugly bitch!"
No,
I'm
I
not doing
don't-
stuff
no,
like
no,
that.
no,
you
no,
know? Look at this ugly bitch over here in the corner. Damn, you ugly bitch! Like I don't do shit like that.
No,
know?
you don't do that at all. All
You
I do
know?
is I see you it's a very positive thing, and it's about you. Like 90% of your sets and songs are about relationships.
Yeah.
So I mean, you are.
And perhaps
a
that will
singer.
branch out, but like, this is all to answer your question. It's much harder to be a comic now because you can do something so small like that, right? Even if she doesn't want me to lose my job, even if she doesn't want me to like lose my means of income, if even one other school sees that, or the association that allows me to do these college bookings sees that, they're not gonna ask what happened. They don't care who's right or who's wrong. They don't care about what discussion was had over it.
It's that one statement of what you are.
And they don't want these colleges don't want any sort of controversy happening on their campus. So even the fact that there was a post about something that happened at my show is like a whole
So why
issue.
do college shows then?
Well, I do it because it pays well, and I'll do it as long as I can. But
Right.
I know for a fact that colleges are booking less and less comics. They're booking more public speakers, influencers,
I do have-
poets.
okay, wait,
They're not booking as many
I
comics.
do have.
anymore.
Okay, here's one.
No,
question,
let me
though.
talk over you.
Okay.
No.
Okay, no, but there's one question that I do have, right? So a lot of comics are saying, yes, it's harder to be a comic now, right? But what is offensive? Because I hear a lot of comedians are like, yo, you're a snowflake, calm the fuck down. You're just being hurt. But sometimes some things are offensive, and sometimes I'm gonna walk out, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like that's like not funny. Fuck you. Does that make me too sensitive? Or if you just say the word "just kidding," can you say anything offensive? I know. And also, lastly, I think
I'll tell you what. To answer
Okay.
that real quick, you cannot, because I have an example I could tell you about after you're done.
Okay, go ahead.
Oh, I did a show a couple weeks ago, and I killed it, and it was in like northern county, San Diego.
Right.
Escondido. It was in Escondido, and this white older woman came up to me after my set and goes, "I loved you, and I hate Arabs." Just kidding. Now,
Yeah, what the fuck,
what does
bro?
that?
What does that mean?
What is that? Is that offend? Like, I'm not Arab, but like, there's a lot of things I'm thinking about. Like, you had a thought.
I mean,
like,
you're Brazilian and Portuguese, right?
I'm Brazilian and Italian, and but this woman that while watching me was laughing at it, and she had the thought, "Oh, this guy's Arab." Like you know what I'm talking about,
Right.
Like,
So then, okay, I want to definitely get into that. I definitely want to get
Yeah.
because you are an ambiguous ethnic-looking comedian, and I definitely want to talk about like racism that you go through because I know you do as in your comedic background.
I do. There's
And
been
your
some
performances. But before we get there, right? When is it justified to be like, okay, dude, that is offensive? I know you just said just kidding, and I know you were trying to make a joke. But when is it offensive?
You know, I think Dave Chappelle said it really well in one of his specials. It was the bird revelations. It was a small set in the belly room of the Comedy Store. It's like 45 minutes. It's probably my favorite special of his.
Mm-hmm.
And he just talked about it's like everything is funny until it happens to you. And that's the thing. Like, what
So
offensive
is-
is?
so
that
then is it-
anybody could find anything offensive.
So
The way I'm
then
sitting
is it justified if someone gets if that's the case? Then do you think that it's justified sometimes if someone says something offensive and then they decide to speak up about it? Okay, for example, there's this comedian who I think is really really funny. His name is Andrew Schultz, right? But he says a lot of offensive shit.
Yeah.
Right. And I think he kind of gets away with it a little bit because of the fact that he is a white male, and so therefore everything can be like seen funny to him, and he's very charismatic in the same plight of it. But when is it okay, I guess? But sometimes I'm afraid in this culture of like, oh, Jonathan, you're just being a snowflake. If I go, whoa, wait a second, I know you're going up there with an open mic, with your microphone, you're trying to make a joke, but dude, that was kind of like offensive.
Yeah, so I hear what you're saying. Anytime somebody says something that we think is offensive, the first thing I think is, okay, the person who said this let's look at this. Let's break this person down for a little bit. So,
Right.
for example, when that whole thing with Kevin Hart happened with the Oscars, right? And he had a couple of gay tweets from like 10 years ago. Okay, I want to point out that 10 years ago, the movie The Hangover had just come out. Did you ever see that movie, The Hangover?
Yeah, the guy's small penis.
All right, so in the first 5 minutes of the movie, Bradley Cooper, renowned American treasure Bradley Cooper, says, "Paging Dr. Faggot." Okay.
Yes.
So I just want you to put context into like where we were 10 years ago.
Right.
Okay, this was in one of the highest grossing comedies of all time. Okay. All right. So now take into account the context of that time. This is a decade ago. Kevin Hart is a black man in America. If you are a black person and you are like an alpha male black person, you grow up in a culture that is like very anti-gay.
Very.
Okay. You
very.
can't like.
My brother's gay.
To
and
be
his partner's
gay
and
is
they've told me
tough.
that, yeah.
To be gay is tough, and then to be black and gay is even harder. So like, you have a guy who's been bred in a culture of like, this is what it is, right?
Right.
So then when he says that, there's no part of me that believes that Kevin Hart wants to like hurt a gay person or dislikes gay people. There's no part of me that thinks that. It's just like there's a lot of stuff that. Of
his background, of the
know?
context of the situation. He's trying to appease his community at the same time.
There was a time
10 years ago.
Yeah, there was a time I was living here. This was like 6 or 7 years ago. I was doing IT work in the Pacific Palisades. I had even more facial hair than I do now. I was driving a way shittier car, and I was trying to find this woman's address. And I'm walking around these houses, and I can't find the number of the house. They're all gated and shit.
Right.
So I see this woman looking at me through the window of her house, and I'm like, all right, this chick's looking at me. So then this woman comes out. She's probably like 60 years old, white woman. And then I say something like, "Hey, I'm looking for this." And before I could even finish the sentence, she goes, "You better leave. I've already called the police." Okay. So, and here's the thing. I was like a little bit shocked, but I wasn't like offended, and I wasn't mad at her because.
Yeah, but that's not forgivable, bro.
Huh?
That's not forgivable. You can't say, "Oh, I know you're 60 years old and you came from a different time, and so therefore this is okay."
No, but dude, you gotta understand. Like, I'm not saying.
But then
it
you're like
is forgivable.
then you're like placating to.
But I will.
You're
say,
placating to problematic issues.
What I'm saying is, before I say this person is a terrible person, I think, okay, why did this person say this?
Right, but I'm not saying that she's terrible. I'm just saying that it's okay for her to be corrected at the time.
Right.
Every context is different. I mean, you can't relate that to the Kevin Hart thing. The Kevin Hart thing is a 10 years ago tweet. He apologized for it like 7 years later, and then he has to defend himself again.
Right. What do we? The original question was, what is offensive, or how do we know it's offensive?
Right.
I guess we don't. Everybody's gonna have their own. It's like, what's funny? It's objective, you know.
Right. But see, here's the thing. Like, I think that it's okay to say and pronounce and not get upset, but speak up and be like, "Yo, this is offensive." But I think again, it's a very gray area about like how it's done. Like one thing that Andrew Schultz was talking about in one of his podcasts, I can't believe him. He's a comedian. He's really funny. He was talking about how this couple got really offended about what he said.
What did he say?
I don't know. But instead of like speaking up, whatever, they just left. And I think that to me is like a gray area of like.
Well, I think that's a healthy way to deal with it.
That's a good way. Like, right.
I mean, look, there's so many different kinds of comics.
There's so many different like avenues about like how to get through stuff if you are offended. And what I'm trying to say is it's okay to be offended. I think it's how you announce or denounce someone that you're offended by.
Yeah, I mean, if you're really funny, you can get away with saying a lot of things.
Right. But as an audience member who gets offended, I'm going to be like, okay, I'm just going to leave.
I was with my Japanese friend yesterday.
Also, he has the microphone, so he has like the privilege to be able to say whatever the fuck he wants. Anyway, you're in this Japanese friend.
I forget it.
Go ahead, say the Japanese thing.
We were sitting together, and I was pretending to speak Chinese, and I asked her, "Is this offensive?" And she goes, "Honestly, you sound like you're speaking Chinese." So
yeah, it's a funny thing you did to me too. I thought it was funny too.
She's like, "You sound like you're speaking Chinese." So like, I don't know. I really don't know because I'm like kind of impressed. Like, are you saying words?
Yeah.
And then I did like a Japanese one, and she's like, "That's also very good." So I don't know.
Yeah, but you
dude.
can't
Some people are gonna
use-
find different
You
things.
just find different things. I
They're
mean, you
just gonna
can't
find
use that
different-
one Asian person to be like, oh, all these Asian jokes are right.
No, I'm
right?
just kidding. It's like using one black friend to say the N word. They said I could say it.
They said I could say it, so therefore it's okay for me to say it. Oh, I hate that.
You know.
Well, let's talk about racism for a second, because
Yeah.
you are an ambiguous-looking man.
We talk about this in therapy.
Right, your race is all over the place.
It's you know what it is. I think what's more bothersome is my lack of race. In that, like, especially in Hollywood, they like now, because we are so divided and we are calling people by names.
Yes.
And whatever. For people like me, for the people who kind of fall through a crack of the people who have to check the other box.
You do often, don't you?
I do. I don't know if you ever look up race on Wikipedia. Brazil has its own section because
Right.
race there is a totally different. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like it's broken down like so differently. So, like, am I Hispanic or am I like? I'll tell you what happened. I was auditioning for the CBS Diversity Showcase.
Ooh, I love that.
It's a very big showcase.
Very
My-
big showcase.
My buddy's doing it. I had a callback, and at the end of the callback, the head guy, who has since been let go due to like sexual misconduct allegations. Anyway,
Oh my God, here we go.
he goes. So what is your ethnic background? I say, well, my mother's from Brazil and my father's from Argentina. And he goes, so you're Portuguese and Italian? And I was like, I mean, I guess, but does that hurt me? Like, am I not diverse enough then? Do you know what I'm saying? It's like you either are not diverse enough, or you're not white enough, or you're not, you know what I mean? And so it's frustrating for me, because then I do encounter these moments of actual, you know, people saying, oh, you're like, one guy after a show was like, hey, I didn't hate you, man. I loved your set. And I think next time you should just incorporate more white people into the set. I know he was drunk, and I don't even know what that means. Like, does he want me to incorporate another member of my band, which is just me, who's white, or everybody in the audience is white? So I don't know what that means. But that comment came from a place of like
ignorance.
And I don't know. Yeah, I don't know where it came from. So I have these moments, somebody calling the cops on me when I lived in New York, getting my bag randomly checked. Multiple times when none of my friends ever got them checked. I have TSA pre-check, and like I still get randomly selected. I do. I don't know. So
Do you think you're different, as in like how you're treated amongst like your other white comics, and do they understand the things that you go through?
they don't, because, and it's the other problem. Like, I have white friends who see me as like a white person, and when I'm in a room full of white people, I don't feel like a white person because I have all these other experiences to tell me otherwise. You know, like a white person, a true white person hasn't had any the things that I mentioned happen to them.
Right.
But I feel guilty even complaining, because I know like my black friends and my really like my Muslim friends and the people who actually have to deal with, like, on a way larger level, like they have to deal with that. So
Well, why do you feel guilty about that? Because you are in a way still, getting, I like to say, like, oppressed in some sort of way.
yeah, but
And so you do become the other. Or is this like a situation now where you feel like an other with white people?
you know what it is, bro? I'm ahead of my time, dude. I'm that khaki color people everybody be talking about in the future, dude. I'm like 20 years too early, dude. In 20 years, everybody's gonna look like me. You know, like I'm just ahead of my time, bro.
But how do you deal with it? Like on the
How do I deal with it? I just
like if you're sitting in a room. Okay, so for example,
you
when
have to be so fucking funny that people forget about it.
it
And that's
sucks.
literally what it is.
Or they have like a really good person. Like I walk in, right, and I have a lot of white friends, and I feel.
Assholes. Just kidding.
And a lot of the times they go, like when I'm with like and they meet like my Asian friends or my black friends or whatever. I'm like, yo, these are my white friends. It's kind of like setting up like a context with all my people of color friends, because there's a language that I speak with them that's different from how I speak with my white friends.
Yeah, of
Because
course.
if I speak, I think truly freely of how I want to with my white friends, then I think I'll push them back a little bit, because
Well, also, yeah,
because white
peop-
culture has what white people what
white people like you don't want to make them feel bad for being white. because
exactly.
It's
Like I don't want to make them feel
It's
bad.
like-
I don't want to make them feel bad for white, but there's a lot of things I'm like, oh my god, that is so white. But I can do
Dude.
that with my people of color friends. I'm like, holy shit,
I saw-
that was so W, dude. You know, And so, but also at the same time, like white people, they joke a lot differently.
They do.
It's very I'm gonna make fun of you for the joke, right? So then that's something that I have to consider, and also because like I'm Asian American, especially a lot of my white friends love to do like Asian jokes.
Oh yeah, of course.
And like yeah, you can only take dude, you can only because they feel comfortable with you, right?
Yeah.
And you can only take it so much that I just need a break sometimes.
Yeah, I get it, dude. I just speaking to this point, I was that I saw a little tiny clip of Aziz Ansari's special, and Netflix had posted it on their Instagram account, and they were like, he picks a white woman out of the crowd, and he goes, "Did you see Crazy Rich Asians?" And he goes, "It got like a 85% on like a 95% on Rotten Tomatoes. Do you think that's what it should have got? Like, what do you think?" She goes, "Maybe it should have got like an 85." He's like, "Why do you think that?" And then he was like, "Are you nervous?" He's like, "I just like making white people feel bad." Right? It's like, it's a whole, because they are, I get it too. Everybody's on fucking eggshells, dude. Nobody could really be themselves and have a good time.
By the way, I don't think Crazy Rich Asians deserve the 95%, but that's
Bro,
just
that
me.
movie, I didn't see them. Well, no, I saw clips of it, and
did not like the movie that much.
yeah, I think Aquafina's overrated.
Whoa, no. I think Aquafina's fucking amazing.
I don't know, bro.
Dude, what the fuck? Aquafina is great, bro.
I just saw her SNL episode, and I was so just like turned off by her.
Really?
Did you see her episode?
No, but I love Aquafina. She's my hero, dude. She's gonna carry Shang-Chi. That's my statement right there.
I don't know what that is.
Shang-Chi is a Marvel superhero movie that's coming out, and I'm super fucking excited for it.
Is she Shang-Chi?
No. Simu Liu, this other actor, is
Chinese?
He's a Chinese guy. He's Shang-Chi. I don't really care for him, but I care for Aquafina a lot.
Is she in the movie?
Yeah, and Jackie Chan's gonna be in it too, which is gonna be dope. I love Aquafina.
Bro, just go and watch that SNL
yeah, I
episode,
should.
and you'll just see why I was like, as a comedian, I watched that show. She seemed so like bored and lazy and ungrateful to be there, and all her sketches were whack. I'm
gonna go watch it, but I don't know. I'm like her biggest fan. I absolutely adore her.
I'm glad we could have this conversation, and I hope you go back and watch some of it, and you watch it.
Then I'll text you and be like, "Fuck, you're right." I don't want to do that.
You have the maybe your love and adoration of her will make you enjoy it even more. I don't know.
She's great, man.
Yeah. But I'm sure people think I'm overrated because I use a guitar, so whatever.
It's fine. Well, at least we talked to like a lot of big things right now, which is really good. Joanna's supposed to look at the camera, so hopefully it's still going on. But it is. I trust her, that son of a gun. Joanna left for the bathroom. God damn it.
Fucking Joanna.
Joanna, she's back now. Is the camera still on? Is it still going?
She went to the bathroom because she didn't bring her phone.
Yeah.
She was like clearly going to do something.
Who did you text?
No, her phone's right there.
Oh.
She didn't.
Oh, did you take a poo?
No, I peed.
Oh, how's that going?
It was good, and it flushed down your shit that was on there.
See, I told you.
boy.
Everything's good. Jesus.
Can you just talk about this? I want to know.
Oh, okay. So one big thing is
Joanna, have a seat. We can talk about it. Joanna's
so
really interested in this.
Joanna really wants to talk. Well, I told her that I believe kind of like in open relationships, and I think that you do too. But I don't know if you want to talk about that or not.
Sure,
we can definitely cut that out.
I am involved in an open relationship.
Okay, so how does that go? People want to know.
Yeah.
Especially as a celebrity. Do you think, not a celebrity, but I think you are, like, as a performer who's getting bigger and bigger and bigger, this is going to sound a little problematic maybe to say, but I think as you get bigger in the celebrity influence world, the DMs increase. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I'm already getting some DMs every once in a while, but...
So is that why you want to be open? Like, explain.
So the openness comes from me wanting to occasionally hook up with a random new person every once in a while, just to give variety. And I will say sometimes when you hook up with a person or go out with a person, it kind of makes you appreciate the person you're with, because you realize like the amount of trust that you've built between you and this person. You also recognize how dating in general can be sometimes, like building trust and getting to know somebody can be difficult. And when you have somebody that is there for you, cares about you, supports you, sexually, sometimes, you just want to like have something different. You want
to dip it in a little bit in something different, a little different puddle, a different wave. It's an ocean sometimes, it's a waterfall,
sometimes you want sweet
it's a
and sour,
puddle.
sometimes you want Szechuan. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And I'm not just saying that because we have a Chinese person behind the camera, but I just want to make it relevant to the people here in the room.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Sometimes you want the sweet chili dip,
God,
which is
I love that.
which is not, I think, an American concoction, to be honest with you.
Yes.
Sweet chili. You know, can you speak for all Chinese people right now?
That's fake as shit.
Yeah, right.
Thank you, Joanna. It is
But,
fake as shit.
Yeah.
But with regards to the relationship, like, and there are rules. I mean, there are, you
Like,
know,
what is the biggest rule that you
Biggest
do so that
rule
way
is
no
I-
one gets hurt? You know,
like for example, she asked that I tell her every time I do hook up with somebody else.
do it before or after? Like, yo, honey,
both.
I did it.
Sometimes randomly I might meet a person and then like we have like a one night stand, right? So I'll be like, hey, I actually ended up hooking up with this person last night.
Does the person want? Does your girlfriend want like details or like?
No, no.
Is that a rule that you set up by like no rules?
Yeah, no, I don't want details. I imagine she doesn't want details. I mean, I think there's some things you do in the bedroom with somebody that you'd like to think that belong to only you two. So, like, I remember one time I told her that another girl called me daddy, and she didn't like that. She liked
Because she calls you daddy.
because she calls me daddy. And what are you shaking your head about?
It's just so. I just can't.
You can't.
Can't
What?
wait.
Have you ever called anybody
Have you
daddy?
ever called?
I only call my dad daddy. And now
You call your dad daddy?
daddy?
But now
That's a weird. You're
Yeah.
weird.
It's weird, but only because people.
I bet you kiss him on the lips too. Did you ever kiss him on the lips growing up?
Do you hug your daddy?
It's like weird. I don't like being touchy with my daddy.
Yeah, I get it, dude. No, and I think people who call
I
their
don't-
daddy is weird.
I don't like when people call me daddy when I'm having sex.
Really?
That's
No.
I never call
I like when they call my name like Jonathan, Jonathan, Jonathan. Oh, Jonathan.
You like the full Jonathan? Oh, Jonathan. Give me that Filipino PP. That Filipino pinga.
I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of that.
But
Yeah,
yeah, so
I'd rather them call my name and shout out my name than fucking calling out daddy. Also, I have daddy issues too, so I don't want to be like thinking about my father.
I'm just saying, some
But
of
anyway,
us-
with like, do you call yourself then
so
what's a polyamory? Like
polyamory, I thought is like you have like
multiple relationships.
multiple relationships.
This is just an open relationship.
I just have one relationship, and then I hook up occasionally with people.
I have a question. When you hook up with other people, do you learn like new sex moves that you move into the bedroom? And then she's like, "Oh my god, I'm so glad that you hooked up with someone because you've learned something new in the bedroom."
I think you should always be taking new risks and changing it up in the bedroom.
I think so
regardless of who
too.
You're with, you know,
That's true.
doing some different things where you just try something different.
I mean, your body has so many different avenues that you can definitely try.
Is this sock clean, dude?
Yes, it is.
I
I
don't
just did
believe it.
laundry. No, I swear to God. Ask Joanna. She knows.
I don't know.
Oh, you son of a bitch.
Yeah, so with the there's that. I mean, me personally, I try not to do any sleepovers. I mean, on another hand, I have a hard time sharing a bed with somebody, and I literally, ladies and gentlemen, Morgan J. yesterday just dropped $1,500 on a king size mattress.
Oh shit! And
Okay.
you have a really cool bit about it.
Yeah,
Check
in
his Instagram, Morgan
yeah,
J.
in an
to find
effort
it.
to share a bed with another human being. That is the effort, and to grow my intimacy, to espouse my intimacy issues.
Hey, Joanna, I have a question. You've already pressed once, right?
Yeah.
Well, how many minutes does that have left?
Almost 15.
Oh, but you've already pressed it once.
Awesome.
You've already pressed it once.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have like 10 more minutes left.
Okay, you know you could put the timer on that too.
Yeah, I
right?
realized, but I didn't. This is like a weird military timer thing. So I totally
Do you know how
forgot.
to change it?
I totally forgot like what I put
Do
exactly.
you know how to change it?
We'll change it later. But now that I know that we have about 10
Now
more
that
minutes.
I know.
Okay, so
So yeah, so there, but I mean, it's all communication, so it all changes.
What happened?
I feel like I made a weird breathing noise, but it all changes when you're in a relationship. It's all communication. I'm learning this year through therapy that intimacy isn't just about the cute stuff where you cuddle and you kiss
it's
and
about
hold each
compassion
other.
and communication a little bit. Like what do you?
Well,
What
no,
is
I was
it?
going to say the other side of intimacy is having those tough conversations where you're angry with somebody.
Okay.
And you have to work through that, because for me, for a long time, when I upset somebody, I just felt like, if I have this fight with them, they're not going to love me afterwards.
Mhm.
And so I'd rather just break up with them than like talk through this and what I'm feeling.
But
But now things are different. Like I talk through stuff. I've just been saying recently, like my girlfriend has been acting super, I'm going to use the word gay, because like she's like, I'm saying,
don't use that word.
I'm being extra boyfriend girlfriendy, and she's like super cute and like she's super excited about it. You hate that I use the word?
Yeah, I hate that you use that word. You could use another word.
As somebody who's dabbled in the gay community, I feel comfortable saying that word.
That's fine.
My
I'm not
when
offended by it.
Dude, when I went to NYU for theater, most of the guys there were gay,
Did you?
and one of the gay guys, I was walking down the street with him, and he was using the F word,
the FAG.
FAG word,
Yeah.
which you hate, right? But he's like,
hate that,
Morgan.
Joanna?
He was talking to me about that word, and he was talking about other, like, as a joke. He's like, Morgan, some guys are just, they're he like, the way he used it was the way like a straight dude would use it, like, about that time, which was over 10 years ago. BT dubs.
BT dubs. Let's not use that as the way to
We're skirting a fine line
to crucify the Morgan J in this situation.
I'm kind of just testing my limits with Joanna to see, because I already did fake Chinese and she laughed at it.
That's fine. You should come to UCLA. Do a show at UCLA.
Bro,
We would love that.
you think so?
Yeah.
I think they would not.
No, we would love you.
See, that's what I'm trying to do right
Well,
now.
I did a show at UCLA
I think
over
this
the
guy.
summer.
I think Morgan J is so fucking talented.
Fucking funny.
Yeah,
it's nice to
he's
say that.
fucking fantastic.
Yeah.
Like when I look at this dude, I just think he's, which I want to kind of get into for right now. I mean, I know we're talking about so many different things.
Yeah.
But one of the biggest things, the reason why I think that you're different is, number one, you're really good with the crowd. You're really positive, but also you are a musical comedian.
Mm-hmm.
And a musical comedian, to me, is what's great about it is it's kind of like a concert. It's like you are Maroon 5 in a way. You are Tenacious D in some way. Where
Yeah, you should come to a live show. You'd
there's
enjoy it.
one in a couple weeks. I'll take her.
You should come to
you're
that.
gonna go to that. Where you're able to connect to the audience, where when they're driving home, they could be like humming your songs.
I'm gonna get that feedback.
And I think that's why you spoke to me, because a lot of other comedians are really funny, but then I walk inside my car and I'm like, Jesus Christ, what the fuck was their set about?
Well, and I think a lot of people, they might not. I'm going really hard for feeling.
Right.
And I think this is lame, but Maya Angelou said it. People
I love her.
will forget what you said, but they'll never forget the way you made them feel, or something like that.
No, that's true. That's exactly what she said.
So that's why in my set, I don't know if you heard the "You Suck" song, but
I like that song.
But there is a world. Oh yeah, you watched the whole hour, didn't you?
Dude, I've not only watched your hour, I'm like a big fan, bro. Like, I've watched your hour. I've been to like, what?
You suck. Like, it's a song about
Go ahead, sing
people
it.
who are flakes. So it's sort of like, when I say 8 o'clock, why do you show up 8:45? Am I the weird one? Am I needy? Is the fault all mine? Did you mean it when you told me you were 10 minutes away? Or are you still at home naked, eating a bag of Lay's? Well, you suck, and you suck. You're unreliable. So, like, that song at the very end gets really, like, deep. You know?
It's really deep.
And I think for a lot of people, that's like their favorite song.
Like, when I was watching your hour and you sang that song, you could see the crowd and you saw, like, their eyes not crying, but, like, glistening.
Well, they're,
Well, I was glistening at least.
Well,
My
look.
eyes were, like, not crying, but I was like, wow, this is a fucking moment. This is a concert. This is not just ha 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 ha. I'm fucking feeling it in my goddamn heart.
And I think one of the reasons also why people feel that way is because I open them up with a lot of humor beforehand. One of the reasons why women love a sense of humor is because it, like, lowers their guard. I don't know if you read. There's actually a book I read called Laughter, which was like a scientific study of laughter.
Right.
And in most conversations, men are 70% of the time are the ones who are making the woman laugh. Right. Or the woman is laughing 70% of the time. Whatever. The whole point, it's like just another technique for men.
That's the only way that I get girls, is by making them laugh, and it's hard.
It is hard, dude.
No, I mean, like, because I don't use my looks. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying that's the only way that I
you
can
have an
survive.
interesting look, dude. I think you got a good look for TV, bro.
Dude,
You
thank
got a
you
good
so
look
much.
for TV, bro.
Well, we'll see. I mean, I did book that commercial, so hopefully.
I
I think
know,
you have a
Joanne,
look.
Are you looking to be in television?
I want to do everything.
You want to do everything?
Yeah, she's very ambitious.
I don't know, because you kind of do look like every other Asian person I've ever seen. I'm just kidding with you. That's a joke.
Oh my god.
No, that's a joke.
Dude.
You're right.
That's the point. What I'm saying is, like, you.
Shit, recover, dude.
No, I'm not going to recover,
I
dude.
really don't care.
No, but it's one
She
of those
drinks her water in
things.
spite.
Dude, I feel that way in Venice. Like, all the white people look the same now.
Dude, I think so too.
Dude, they all sort of have, like.
They all have that look of like, hey,
I have so
I'm
much.
the
My
fratty
life has been
bro.
great this
Yeah,
whole time.
where's my Tesla?
Yeah. And
Mar Vista.
But also, I think that comes with age, dude. Like I'm like having a hard time keeping names in order, and
I do have a question though. So
Yeah.
let's go back to this whole like musical comedy thing. You
That's
know,
a-
when I first saw one of your first clips that you ever sent me, you weren't doing musical comedy. So what led
what
you?
was the first clip I sent you?
Dude, you sent me the first time that you bombed in 2009.
Oh yeah, no, it was 2007, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. So what made you go? You know what? Time to pick up a fucking guitar.
Well,
And
I was
start,
doing all
like-
right. I was doing stand up for 6 years. I was doing all right, but my material. I think when you're looking at yourself do stand up, you have to ask yourself like, do I think this really is funny? Like, does this make me laugh? And eventually you gotta be honest with yourself. Like you could be doing comedy that kills, but if you want to have fun and like enjoy your life, you gotta do it. You gotta make it so you like it. And I like the songs I write, and
Yeah, I like the sounds.
it was just for me. It was a matter of hitting a wall creatively and just trying to do something different to make myself have fun again. Because if I couldn't do that, then I wasn't going to do it anymore.
So I don't want to go through the entire year that you've had from like being on NBC.
I literally just posted a really
like an
lame
accomplishment post.
accomplishment post.
You know what I love about accomplishment posts? You post like the struggles, and then you like you throw like how much hard work you put into it and like all your accomplishments at the same time. So you're not like too much of a douchebag, but at the same time you got to talk about your accomplishments. You know what I'm saying? In a way that motivates other people.
Yeah, I think the main thing I talked about at the very end was going to therapy consistently for a year.
Yeah, that's what I actually want to talk about.
And that was really important for me. And not comparing myself,
Have
which
you
I
been
did a lot.
You compared yourself to a lot of people?
I do it, and I still do it, and I think Joanna might be reading through it right now, but yeah, like.
Do you think therapy? Oh, dude, I love you, man. Do you think therapy like has really helped you? And why do you think like what makes therapy so good for you? And why do you think people should always do it?
I think people should always do it because a lot of us come from homes that don't really support talking about your feelings. I think for a long time, growing up with immigrants, I think my mom would always say stuff like, "Well, it could be so much worse. You could be in this country with no food or water, or you could be here. Or your life could be like this." And
So it's hard to open up almost about your own pain that you go through.
and like her life was so tough. Like she came here with like just a suitcase and shared a bed with 4 people in Brazil, and like. So I didn't feel comfortable saying like I'm sad that my friends didn't. I'm sad.
Yeah.
And they'd be like, "Where do you go to work?" You know? Are your parents immigrants or no?
They are.
Yeah,
So
same.
are they? And they're full Chinese, both of them.
Yeah.
Like are from like Hong Kong or like where are you from?
Mainland China.
I mean,
China,
dude,
China.
I'm telling you, like immigrant, and I'm sure you even got it worse than I do. Like they're just like, you fucking go to. I don't care how you feel. Go
Yeah.
to fucking work, bro.
That's exactly how my parents are too.
I don't
my
care.
mother, sorry.
We don't care how you. Although I saw your posts of. Seemed like Christmas was a good time.
Dude. So my
Did you go or you saw it?
Oh, I
It looked lit as fuck, bro.
Yeah.
Damn, dude, everybody was dancing and singing. and-
So as a tradition on the 24th, like the immediate family comes in, just like the partners of my siblings, and then we just try to do something different every year. And single mom, she cares about us a lot,
Yeah.
and she wants to make sure that we do fun activities as a unit of a family. And so yeah,
my family
we
never did that shit.
we played some music and we took photos.
That's so nice.
But no, I'm glad that you're doing therapy because it allows you to open up. And have you felt
Well,
kind of better? And
Yeah, of course. And you know what you learn? You learn what, like the biggest thing for me this year has been learning how to express feelings. So literally yesterday in therapy, I was like sad after a phone call I had with my mother because anyway, they're like going back to Brazil for a couple months and it will be even longer before I see them. But like, he was like, "Why do you think you feel that way?" And I was like, "Listen, Joe, right now, I just am like happy that I was able to, like, after I got off the phone call, I had to like think to myself, I am sad now. Because it's literally like that. If you're not used to, if you don't have an emotional vocabulary or intelligence or know how to express yourself that way, you literally start like a child. Like when you see parents, some parents you see like, Jacob, how do you feel right now? How
Yes.
did I make you feel?
right.
That shit never happened to me growing up.
No. I got hit in the face.
You got
if I-
your mom be like, "Get the fuck, stop, just let's go."
yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like you're crying and you're like, you want.
My father would hit me in the face and be like, "Stop crying."
Yeah, dude.
And you hit your limiting beliefs by the age of 7. So, like they say, like if you want your kid to feel loved and have feelings, is to like always consistently affirm them in a way that's authoritative till the age of 7. But hey, that's not what we got as like immigrants, you know.
That's not what we got. But
But
you know
hey,
what?
look, you're improving. You're pushing yourself out there. You're doing something with it. So you should be very proud of yourself, man.
Yeah, I mean, I will say, shout out to immigrant parents for like giving you that drive too, because like it could be the other way around where you have those parents who are like too soft on you. I mean, if I had to take I prefer that this hand than to the opposite, where like you're rewarded for everything, you're coddled, you're like, because like life is very difficult and it only gets harder. So sometimes people aren't prepared for that part of it either. I'm sure you have friends.
Oh, I have friends where
like,
they're like, I mean, I've been like homeless. I've, been in situations, and I'm not here to compare, but I'm like, oh my God, if they only had like a tougher,
if they had a fraction,
if they had just a tougher background a little bit, they could get through this.
Yeah, and it's not their fault. It's like
but
they
it's
just
not.
don't
But like I said, it's not their fault. Everyone comes from like different backgrounds. I'm just
have
saying,
different perspective, bro.
Everyone has their pain, and everyone deals with their own pain differently. And I'm fortunate that my pain tolerance is like really high, to a point where at least I can handle almost anything. If that makes sense.
No, I understand.
Thanks for coming on. I have. So, what's the big plan of 2020 for the Morgan J?
Big plan of 2020. The main resolution is to just not compare myself to people.
I like that.
And constantly observe the things you're doing well.
And where can people find you, Morgan?
You can go to my website, morganj.com. I have a monthly show in Mar Vista. And you can just check. Just go to morganj.com because all the ticket links. I don't know when this comes out, but I'll be in San Francisco in a couple weeks.
Yeah, it's coming out not the 30th, but the week after the 30th.
All right, great. So I'm going to be in San Francisco doing about 9 shows over the course of 5 days, including an hour-long set for San Francisco Sketch Fest.
I only have 200 listeners, by the way. So
that's okay, but they should know.
It's consistent.
Instagram. Oh, and then follow me on.
It's consistent. At
follow
least.
me on Instagram at Morgan J.
Follow him, guys. Also,
Morgan J.
You should do something as like the marketing thing that I am. You should say, "Hey, listen, if you sign up to my email address, you might get that hour."
Yeah, and that is a good thing. If you know what? If you sign up for my mailing address, I will send you the hour free of charge.
Yeah,
you can rent it. Also, if you're on the mailing list, you get first dibs on like promo codes for shows, like half off shows and stuff.
They're fucking great.
Yeah. So,
All right, thanks everybody. You have a
Jonathan,
beautiful day.
where the fuck can we find you though?
Oh, Do Good Jonathan or Spill the Fuck. That's right. This podcast is called Spill the Fuck. I'll do an intro at the beginning of every podcast. Hey everyone, it's Jonathan Garano, Spill the Fuck. A podcast where basically we sit down with random people and we just talk the shit. It's not people with careers. Yeah. It's people with people. Spill the fuck. We're just spilling the fuck.
Spilling the fuck, dude. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Joanna.
Morgan J. Follow him, everybody. Morgan J.
Ni hao ma.
Thanks, man. Yeah, you just press the stop button. Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
That was really good.